What's going on? Good morning, my film fam. Welcome to another episode of Chop Willie in the Morning, brought to you by Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop, here with my main man, Willie Jack. I need to know, man, how you feeling this morning, man? How you feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good, feeling great. Got more football on the way, you know what I'm saying? Big Josh finna do his thing a little bit, man, so I'm just waiting for the fireworks. You know what's going on.
Okay. A little bit of a little spoiler alert for y'all, as y'all know who my guy probably rocking with when we get to that game. And of course, we're gonna jump into that game, man. We're gonna jump into it, along with a few other things as we go through the show today. You know what I'm saying? We got a great one, man. One team from each conference is already set for the championship game, man. So we got one team for the NFC Championship game already set, one team for the AFC Championship game already set, man. So it's time to find out the other two today. We're going to find out who it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be some tough games. I imagine these going to be the better games of the four. So I'm really excited to see what's going on, in terms of that. And of course, me and Willie Jack, we always going to break each and every one of these games down. But before we do that, we got house rules, man. We got house rules, and y'all know what it is. It's the same each and every week. It's the same each and every show. That's that share, that subscribe. You got time right now. If y'all in here, first and foremost, y'all need to check in. Secondly, I need y'all to like, you share, you know what I'm saying? Because we got plenty of room in the pad, man. We got plenty of food, plenty of drinks, plenty of whatever you need. We got it here in the pad for you. And of course, you got to hit that notification bell. You hit that notification bell because how else are you going to find out what me and Willie Jack got cooking? What me and Willie Jack got on the menu for the week. So hit that notification bell. Let us know, you in here, become the newest member of the film fam. And I guarantee you, me and Willie Jack, we will not let you down. But Willie Jack, we ain't going to waste no time today, man. We ain't wasting no time today. We getting right to it, man. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these Saturday games, man. We had two Saturday games. The AFC, we're going to start off in the AFC first. We had the Jacksonville Jaguars go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Chiefs ended up coming away with this W 27-20. Willie Jack, talk to me, man.
Man, the story of this game, man, missed opportunities, man. Missed opportunities. Kansas City comes out, they go down, they get a score. And then, of course, was it top of the second quarter, Patrick Mahomes gets his ankle rolled on pretty good.
It was the first quarter, actually.
Okay, yeah, it was extremely early on, and so I'm like,
early.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I'd hate to see them lose that way, you know what I'm saying? But man, you got a bum patty on one wheel, man, out there with an obvious one flag. I'm talking about the boys hopping on one leg to give zone handoffs. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
It was ugly, and so, and so he ends up coming out of the game. And then, like I said, man, but just Jacksonville just couldn't capitalize, and also a credit to the Chiefs defense for really standing tall, standing tough, and not letting Jacksonville ever really get a firm footing in that game, even with Patty on a bum wheel. And then when, like I said, they give Patty, I think it was maybe two ugly series, kind of after the ankle and knee issue. Then they forced him out. He had to do a little bit of a patty pat on the sideline, but understandably so. You know what I mean? Ain't no tomorrow. Like, man, I ain't saving nothing for tomorrow. We need this one today.
Yeah.
So I can feel that for sure. But they sit him down. Chad Henne comes in, and man, talk about this is when I realized, okay, yeah, they win in this game. Chad Henne comes out, goes 5 for 7, goes right down the field, gets a touchdown on his drive, and carries them through to halftime. And then for a Jags team that just couldn't get anything going. Like I said, that Chiefs defense definitely showed up with something to play, or showed up with something on their mind. And so that's me the story of that game, man. Then the second half as well, man. The game was always the Chiefs better team, even with a bum wheel patty. But the game, they weren't necessarily able to fully cement that game away. Jacksonville still had opportunities going into the fourth quarter of that game. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the biggest takeaway for me. Some of the obvious mistakes for sure. The Agnew fumble on the 5-yard line. You're down 10. I think it's the top of the fourth at this point. You're down 10. It's like roughly somewhere around like 9 or 8 minutes left. You're on the 5-yard line. Trevor Lawrence gets a little quick dump off to Agnew, their punt and kickoff returner. Tries to make a guy miss and fumbles the ball. You know,
inside the 5, man.
Inside the 5 in a 10-point game. And so, touchdown or not, you got to get 2 scores anyway. That right there really could have been the game. Then kudos to Jacksonville's defense. They actually get a stop, and so they do get a stop, get the ball back. But like I said, now there's maybe 4 minutes, and so but just the opportunities were there, and they just could not seize those moments. The deep shot to Christian Kirk, a deep post, and honestly, it looked like a good ball. But then at the same time, Christian Kirk made a good attempt. I mean, they missed by inches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I still don't know who to put that on. Maybe I'll get your. I don't know if I want to put that on Kirk for. I don't know if I want to put it on Kirk for maybe not playing the ball. It looked like a good ball, but at the same time, I mean, maybe it's.
Hey, man, sometimes you're just off, man. Sometimes when they say it's a game of inches, man, it's plays like that. It's plays like that you go down to. You go back.
That's a touchdown. Two inches less. That's a touchdown. Or if not a touchdown, he catches and rolls to the ground or whatnot. And you know what I'm saying? They inside the 5 again. And so, like I said, man, just like my dog just inches, and they missed that one by millimeters. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, those opportunities were there. One of the things, man, and I'm gonna throw it to you here. There's 2 things that jumped out to me that I didn't like from Jacksonville when the game started. First play of the game is like a veer option for Patty running left. So they come out, and this is excellent coaching by both Doug Peterson and Kansas City. I like how both opening kind of play calls, because it was a little something different, a little something off the beat, or like just a little something outside the norm. Nobody came out and just ran a B gap dive. You know what I'm saying? Nobody came out here just like, all right, man, just get loose and throw a jab. Like, nah.
Yeah.
We came out with right hand leads. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came out with a right hand lead, something just to throw you off just a little bit. And so they go that flat veer option with Patty. You got Trayvon Walker, a 6'5", 270-pound mammoth of an athlete, and he's in no man's land. And I comment, I hate like man, he should smoke Patty right there. Patty plays it perfectly, and he plays it so slow, and then Trayvon's just kind of froze, like I said, no man's land during the headlights, and then we get a dump to I believe it was Pacheco. It's like a 6-yard gain, but you didn't. And so this is the thing about it that made me mad. And you know, I've said this earlier in the season before, bro. And this is what defensive coaches will always tell you: shoot the gun, fire the gun. You know what I'm saying? You got to be. If you go mess up at 100 miles an hour, nobody wants to see you
and not knowing what to do. Do something. If I heard Coach Ford, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All I heard him telling y'all is, if all this fails, go. At the end of the day.
Bro, what we used to say, bro, somebody got to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody got to pay, bro. You know what I'm saying? So somebody got to pay. So somebody got to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Now, be wrong or be right, but somebody paid for it. You know what I'm saying? That was a free pass. You know what I'm saying? Because and on those type of plays with quarterbacks like that, to me, in those situations, it's always worth getting a shot on the quarterback. Always. I'll always take the pitch to the running back and him getting 20, him getting 30. He could have got them 20 and 30 anyway. That's what he does. I want the shot on that quarterback, though. You know what I'm saying? This is a freebie shot, too. I ain't got a lit up shot. I ain't got to set him down gently shot. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he's a runner. He's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you got, man, he should have smoked Patty right there. Real talk. To start that game, set that tone, get that, man. That was a free shot, and instead he gets there and no man's man doesn't touch a soul. It's a pitch and it's a positive play for Kansas City. And like I said, it was just a free pass. I hated that play. And then after that, Patty on the bum ankle. They didn't capitalize at all. At all. The man had a flat tire. He's hopping on his handoffs. He's hopping in the pocket. He even scrambled for a 6-yard run when he came in, and he's hopping and broken ankle tackle, hopping on one leg to get away from a Luakon or one of the guys. And so it's like I was expecting that they would heat him up a little more, because typically you don't want to blitz Patty. Typically, if you can do it, you want to rush 3 and drop 8. The best way to hinder Patrick Mahomes is generally as many bodies as you can have in coverage to clog all those lanes. Because if you rushing him allows him to make a guy miss or to get off script. So these are the things. So I can understand how maybe that wasn't in the game plan to be overly aggressive. Maybe as far as just the totality of the game. Now they came out with an A-gap blitz, which also made Andy's wide veer option such a brilliant call, because he was in like, you make that call because you anticipate something. And it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's the genius of Andy Reid. But like I said, so even if you didn't plan on necessarily heat him up like that, once he's on that bum wheel, okay, yeah, now we going. Yeah, now we going. Now you know what I'm saying? That's what I would have wanted to see, like really kind of force that issue. And it just felt like they didn't. It just feels like that Trayvon Walker defensive play set the tone. That defense just kind of stayed in. No, man, they just kind of stayed 1 foot in, 1 foot out the whole time. They didn't know if we want to blitz. And then if they did want to blitz, they didn't want to commit to a real heavy blitz. A 5-man blitz is the word. I hate 5-man blitzes. You know what I'm saying? Very rarely do they ever do anything but just expose a hot, just give you a quick little dump off to an area now that's devoid of anybody for 8 yards. So if you're gonna go for it, I'd rather you go. I want to see a real blitz. I want to see a 6-man. You know what I'm saying? If you got that nickel coming, give me one of the backers coming as well. You know what I'm saying? Like that's generally speaking. But yeah, man. So they just missed opportunities. But then at the end of the day, man, like we've been saying, the better team did win. I do want to see the best matchups I can going forward. So I didn't want to see Kansas City lose that game because Jordan got hurt. You know what I'm saying? But now if Jacksonville came out there and got it done, man, like they did against the Chargers, then kudos to them. But I don't want to see, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the Bulls lose because Jordan ain't on the floor. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it all worked out. But missed opportunity for those Jaguars for sure.
And speaking of the injury, that does raise concerns, okay? Because ultimately, it was the Chiefs' defense that sealed the deal, and not the Chiefs' offense. That Chiefs' offense kind of stalled those last couple of drives in the fourth quarter, which kept giving the Jacksonville Jaguars the opportunities that they had. You know what I mean? And that makes me feel like, okay, going into this next week's games, it's not going to be Trevor Lawrence on the other side, you know, trying to close this deal out. It's going to be either Joe Burrow or it's going to be Josh Allen, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which it's not going to be well or work well for the particular the defense that they're going to get. So it's going to be a different team. So their offense is going to have to play better down the stretch. Now, the way this offense started off, I felt like, oh, man, this is going to be trouble for Jacksonville, because their very first drive that I watched, and this was before Patrick Mahomes had the injury, but the very first drive that I watched from Pat Mahomes, I saw Pat Mahomes complete a 20-yard jump pass to Kelsey, okay? Mm-hmm. Then 2 plays later, he did a fake bubble with his eyes to throw the defensive end and the linebacker off, and he comes back and throws a sidearm slant to Juju for about 14 yards. And then later in that drive, while he's getting tackled, a guy has him wrapped up, getting ready to sling him down. He completes a pass for about 6-7 yards to Travis Kelce again to get the first down before they go in for the touchdown. And I said, oh, if Patrick Mahomes is on like this, it's gonna be a long day for Jacksonville.
Cancel Christmas. Yeah.
Hey, you can cancel it because we've seen this Patty Mahomes time and time again. The Patty Mahomes where, hey man, he's making all different types of plays, and it's like, how can we stop this guy? There's no way we can stop this guy. He's throwing passes from all different types of angles. He's in the earth throwing passes. He's throwing side. Like when he's on his game like that, man, it's not many teams, if any, that can really stop him. And when their offense is going like that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we saw. But then, of course, you know, like you said, the injury happened and things start changing a little bit. And that's when I started to feel like, okay, this game might get a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with this being a 7-point game, you can actually point to Chad Henne being in the ball game that kind of salvaged this game for them. You know what I mean? Now, that 5-for-7 drive that you talked about, you know, I give Chad Henne his credit for that, but I also give Andy Reid and running back Isaiah Pacheco his credit too. Isaiah Pacheco, you know what I'm saying, he held a lot down for that on that particular drive. I think that was a drive he had like a long, like 30.
He bucked that 40-yard run, yeah.
Yeah, so Isaiah Pacheco had a good drive there too, and that allowed, you know, the Chiefs to continue to move up the field to change things up. And then as soon as they throw a little wrinkle in the game, I can hit a quick out route to Kadarius Toney on the right side, and he can pick up some extra yards for me. You know, I can hit, you know, my tight end Travis Kelce for that touchdown. You know, that drive, kudos to Andy Reid. You get bye week Andy Reid, you know he's cooking. You know he's in that kitchen whipping up something, and it's gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? He got the grandma arms working. You know what I'm saying? He got the grandma arms.
He definitely got the auntie arms. He definitely got the auntie arms, bro.
When the auntie arms working in the kitchen, you know it's about to be some fire, dog. I'm trying to tell you. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Andy Reid was in that kitchen cooking, you know, and they came with it this particular game. And they did their thing. Now, to the Jaguars. The Jaguars, they didn't lay down in this game. I don't want to say that. I know they gave up, and they had opportunities, and they gave up a few opportunities, and they melted, you know, in parts of this game. But they still didn't lay down. You know what I mean? They had over 350 yards of offense in this game, and a lot of their players, their main players, made plays. You know what I mean? Like Lawrence made some key plays in this game, even with the couple of the bad plays he had. Travis Etienne got in the end zone. He had about 80 yards this game. Christian Kirk got the first touchdown. Zay Jones had about 80 yards. So they had their players playing, in certain stretches of this game, kind of, doing what they were expected to do and doing what the things they've been doing all season, but it was, like you said, Willie Jack, that crucial fumble by Agnew inside the 5.
But everything they did was between the 20s. They could not, they struggled capitalize, like finishing them off all night.
Exactly. And then the very next drive after that, the interception that he threw up the right sideline. And the play was the Chiefs, they schemed up something to where they got a free rusher coming through the right side A gap. Or no, actually, that might have been, that was the right side A gap. The center missed the block. The center slid to the left and didn't end up blocking anybody and let a free rusher go. And Trevor Lawrence panics, throws up a ball on the right sideline to Zay Jones. Zay Jones is still trying to find his way, trying to find a ball while the defensive back gets a one-hand interception. That's still 3.5 minutes left. It's 3:49 left on the clock, Willie Jack. You know what I'm saying? With 10 minutes left. That could have still been a drive to put them in position to win this game, especially with the way that the defense was playing down the stretch. So it was 5 minutes left when the fumble happened. They get the stops, 3 and out, and it's 3:49 left when they throw the interception. You know what I'm saying? So they, like you said, they had those opportunities, and their defense was playing well at that time, especially with Patrick Mahomes being hurt, and on the ankle. They just couldn't capitalize on those plays.
Yeah.
All in all, though, I do think it was a great experience because on the drive after he threw the interception and submitted left, you see Trevor Lawrence learn from his mistakes. And I think that's the most important part for this Jaguars team going forward and for their future, because the exact same rush came, a free rusher through the A gap again. This time, Trevor Lawrence, seeing that play or that same exact thing before, he pump fakes, gets the defender in the air, sidesteps, and completes about a 15-yard comeback on the right sideline to Zay Jones. Keeps the drive going, gets out of bounds. The clock is not rolling. Like, those are the types of things and the types of growing that you want to see in your quarterback. You know what I mean? Is that first time, that could have been something he's never seen before. In this moment, in the playoff game, like you said, you seen him panic. He throws an interception. The next time he comes down, boom, I take my time. I'm poised. I sidestep. I complete the pass. That's going to be the difference between him being where he is now, or like my dog Willie Jack says, that's the difference between good Trevor and bad Trevor. You work as you work towards. If you continue to get good Trevor, hey man, we might be seeing the rest of the division looking up at the Jaguars for years to come. If they continue to move in that trajectory, keep on building, hey man, it's gonna be trouble for that division for a long time. So those are all the things that I saw in this game. Of course, the Chiefs held on, being a veteran team, but I'm really concerned about the Chiefs and how they're gonna look next week, especially with Pat Mahomes on that ankle. Because we all know, I don't know if any of y'all had an ankle sprain, which is what it looks like. That day of, you're able to play on it. But today,
oh man,
it's banging. He in the bed right now, leg up in the air, got ice on it, or he should be if he ain't. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be hard as a mud to be playing on that. A week later.
Right. He was probably up moaning in his bed at 6 this morning, bro. Can't lay throbbing, man. Yeah, thriving, banging. You know what I'm saying? So exactly right, man. But not just like you said, man. That Jacksonville, that division's right there for them. And like I said, so we've got a rebuilding Texans team. We've got essentially what's going to be maybe not a full-fledged rebuild, or not a full-fledged from the ground floor in the Colts, but a floundering Colts team as well. And then, like you said, you've got a regressing and an aging Titans team, and so like this is two
teams in the middle of no man's land, and then you got the up and coming Jaguars, and then we know what Houston is.
You got it, exactly. So the time for their time is now. Man, can't say enough about the job that Doug Peterson did, man, with that Jaguars team, with Trevor Lawrence, and then just like my dog Chop just said, man, Trevor Lawrence, and this is a credit to his pedigree. You see his, like you could, like, just like Chop said, one drive to the next, he's corrected that issue. He's corrected that mistake. And that's what we kind of saw all year, his progression, where like visible tangible game over game improvement. You know what I'm saying? And so like at the rate he's going and with Doug Peterson, man, like that's going to be very, very, very interesting to see going forward for sure. But yeah, that's got to be their division going forward, man. It's got to be, especially Calvin Ridley's coming. Calvin Ridley's coming in next year. Now I'm not necessarily. I don't want to talk like D Hop coming back from suspension, which is some folks talk about. It's not going to be like that because before he realized now he's been gone for now 2 years, and then before he left, the 2 years before that he balled when he was robbing to the last good Julio that we seen, and then Julio left, and then there was a little bit of juju effect. He couldn't necessarily step into that number one spot. You know what I mean? And then, man, we don't know what that pressure did to him because then the boy had to take a year off of football after that. And then he lost another year betting $15 on FanDuel or whatever he did, which is a foolish rule and a foolish mistake, but still, you know what I'm saying? So he lost a whole nother year for that. So still don't know what we got coming back as far as who he's going to be, but all said though, assuming he comes back and he's young enough to where maybe he does look like his young promising self still, if he does still pick back on that, then yeah, this is a very dangerous team going forward, man, for sure.
For sure. So yeah, that's where they stand there. Chiefs move on. They are in the AFC Championship game, so we'll see them playing next week, and we're going to find out who they play today. But let's go on to another game, man. We had another game that was played yesterday, Willie Jack, and we had the New York Giants traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. Eagles end up stumping a mud hole in the Giants, man. They win this game 38-7. Willie Jack, I'm going to start this one off, man, and I'm going to say this first and foremost. Hurts and the Eagles came out, to get rid of any doubters. I mean, any of the doubters that saw them play the very last week 18, against the Giants, against their backups, a lot of people was like, you know what? I don't know how they're gonna look in the season, man. Jalen Hurts is coming up off of this in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts is coming off of this injury. You know what I'm saying? They didn't quite look the same, and blah. First play of the game, 40-yard pass to Devontae Smith. You know what I'm saying? Then the second pass, quick pass to Goddard to the left side, throws a mean stiff on, breaks a couple tackles, takes there for about 8-9 yards. Those two plays alone kind of set the tone for what it was going to be all game long. It was like, look, we're not here to play with y'all. We know who we are. We know who we've been, and this is who we're going to be today. So they set that tone first and foremost. They came out and did that, and that's just what it was all game long. They set the tone, and they pretty much played bully ball, all offense, the rest of this game, bully ball on offense. And they pretty much did exactly what we talked about, Willie Jack. And we talked about this game beforehand. It was like, okay, it doesn't matter the coaching at some point. It's like, I'm better than you. I don't care what y'all do on offense. I don't care what y'all do on defense. This is what we do, and y'all can't beat us. And that's exactly what it was. They ran for 268 yards, ran for 3 touchdowns in this game. The time of possession difference was 11 minutes. So they definitely held the ball for a long time. But that also shows you how good this Eagles team can be, especially when they're ahead. Like, no, you can look at certain teams. Like we look. You said what?
No, go ahead.
No, but I'm gonna say you look at the Chargers, right? They was up 27-0 against the Jaguars. Nobody felt like that game was over. But this game, it was a wrap. It was 28-0 at half. It was no way they was coming back. Especially with the drives that Philly was put together. I ran down the drives that the Bills put together, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Nah, these were 5, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. They were running the ball down the Giants' throat. You know what I mean? This entire game. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, the defense followed suit. They made this offense of the Giants look completely different from what we saw last week, which kind of shows you. I mean, it's a difference between his Vikings defense and his Vikings team versus Eagles, man. This is apples to oranges, man. This is something totally different here. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's fruit. We all football teams, but it's a different type of fruit, brother. It's a different type of flavor you're gonna get when you gonna come, come down to Philly and try to come in our backyard. And that's what happened there. You know what I mean? Daniel Jones would be an all-pro quarterback if he played the Vikings every week.
Thanks.
averaging 300 yards a game, rushing for about 50 to 70 yards a game. Oh yeah, that's an all-pro quarterback if he played the Vikings every week. But against the Eagles, that offense totaled only 227 yards. You know what I mean? They were 5 of 13 on third downs. Daniel Jones was sacked 5 times and pressured all game. And this is the type of loss that makes you question, okay, how good is this team? All right. Are y'all really as good as last week? Is Daniel Jones really the future of this team? Like, are we really that good? You know what I mean? So those are the type of things that it makes you question in regards to this team. And Eagles come out and they silenced all doubters and say, look, man, we here and this is what we do. So that's kudos to the Eagles, man.
No, for sure. And yeah, just like you said, man, the Eagles, especially and Jalen Hurts as well, man, I'm so happy with this performance. And when I picked this game, because I was impressed with how the Giants looked in that wild card week. And then of course, Philly, Jalen Hurts I know, man. What since at the time I was like, man, I was scared. I was like, man, look, I don't know where this is going. I was like, hey, man, look. She
talked to me yesterday, man. I guess a bunch of ladies out here, they finally seen Jalen Hurts' face. You know, man, as football players, our face don't get shown all the time, man. You know, so they finally seen his face, and now he getting a lot of love from the ladies, man. So I'm gonna shout him out. I'm gonna shout out Jalen Hurts, man.
Shout out Jalen Hurts
because I'm a former football player, man. You know what I mean? I know how it feels to be hid under the mask, man. They all watching these basketball players and stuff like that, man. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, man, for getting the ladies' attention. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sure he's doing his thing. Do your thing, brother. But yeah, man. But no, I wasn't exactly sure what we were gonna get. You know what I mean? So just realistically, so he misses those 2 games. The team does has a very tough hard loss, of course, to the Cowboys, a game that they were in and could have lost. But it really still does show his worth and his value, and especially, like I said, on and in this team. And so the dominant team we saw for the first 12 weeks of the season, they do get that first loss to Washington, which I hated for them the way they lost, man. I feel like the refs took it out of their hands, and like I said, so that's how they take their first L, and then you get 2 more losses when he misses with Gardner Minshew's in. But so I mean, outside of that, man, it was back to on-brand football for what we've seen for the Eagles since the beginning of the season. Just like my dog said, bully ball, we coming, nothing you can do to stop it. He just told y'all they went for 200, almost 300 rushing yards. That's on quick math.
About
45 rushes or so for almost 270 yards. They had the ball for almost another quarter in this game. And the heavyweight, and this is another thing as well, man. That Giants defense, especially that defensive front, was no slouch. And so one of the things I talked about in the pregame on Wednesday was the heavyweight fight I was looking to see was the trench warfare, because you have Dexter Lawrence playing at an all-pro level. You've got Kayvon Thibodeau, who really turned up and really came on, as the season went on. You still got Leonard Williams there, who is the other guy right there next to Dexter Lawrence. But we can't forget, they brought him over for the Jets on like a $60 million contract. He was a Pro Bowl and threatened all-pro level status his last years in the Jets. So that defensive, and then you still got Ojulari as well. Azeez Ojulari, I don't want to forget him as well. So I want to see that D-line against that Eagles offensive line. And man, look, if you thought it was going to be Frazier Ali, nah, bro, it was Tyson and one of them dudes that got knocked out in the first round.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I seen Jason Kelsey one-arm pancake a cat. Now, to granted, it wasn't one of those guys. It wasn't Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence or any of those guys. But whoever it was, it don't matter. He took him one arm, lifted him up, threw him to one arm pancake. Yeah, them boys ain't playing, man. They was like, hey man, I don't know what y'all thought this was. I don't know who y'all thought their defensive line was. Hey, but we them guys though.
Yeah, out here moving furniture. Lane Johnson, it was because Lane Johnson stonewalling. It could have been Thibodeau or Ojulari. I think they will kind of switch sides a little bit. I think this one may be Ojulari. When I tell you, man, he just picked that boy up in his chest, took 2 steps, and sat him here. And then let Gainwell take off about 50 yards. He took 2 steps, locked that boy's chest out, let Kid Gainwell run by, let him go. And he's jogging up the field like this. Like they couldn't do what they did. They put them boys in and everywhere they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Realistically. I mean, it was just like my dog said, real bully ball. Like, no, get in these trenches, boy. Get in this phone booth. What's happening? And they ain't want none of that. Come on over, man. And wasn't nothing they could do. Like I said, 45 carries and almost 300 yards later, like we just said, man, it was a ball game. And so completely came out dominating, man. So I was happy and excited for them. And this is the thing as well, man. And I'm watching that Patrick Mahomes game, and I just hate the way this year, like I said, turned out for Jalen as far as just personal accomplishments. I really think that he was in line to get an MVP this year, but before getting hurt. Now, Patty was coming on strong, and he really was, but my vote was going to go to Jalen because they came out from the opening tilt dominant, and they were dominant all the way through. And honestly, I can't if he doesn't miss those 2 games, I can't tell you that they don't go 16-1. You know what I'm saying?
What, Willie Jack? When they missed when he missed those 2 games, that was when I really felt like, okay, he should be given the MVP, because I
You
saw the
see what? Yeah.
difference that he made in the lineup versus out. Because it's easily to be confused with how their team looked and how dominant they were all season long, and feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily Jalen Hurts. But then when you saw him go out, they took those 2 losses, and you saw how they lost. You know what I mean? And they weren't able to control the ball, control the clock, and do all those different things that they're normally able to do with him in the lineup. That is what, to me, showed me how valuable he is to that offense. So
no, and see, I agree as well. But and I do feel that way. But the only thing is, like, Patty came on so strong down the stretch. I mean, he just really did. And then also, even now, the MVP is meant to be, it's a regular season award. So I know sometimes that's what people always say, like, man, well, they should know, because it's a regular season award. Now, postseason heroics and stuff, we have seen, like, where how many MVPs has Aaron Rodgers won and then been eliminated at the crib after his bye week in the divisional. So we know that it is a regular season award. And so, like, I wouldn't be mad at Jalen Hurts, but just as strong as Patty came on, and just like I said, the machine they are, and then honestly, just I don't know if I think he needed everything. Just like we said before, to beat the champ, you got to knock the champ out. You know what I'm saying? And so when he missed those 2, and Patty's still really out there kind of proving and showing his worth, man, in my mind, I think that it probably goes to Patty, and it's not a bad selection. It's a phenomenal selection. After you lose with maybe the most dangerous man in football, you go out there and lead the league in passing yards, and the offense is still the number 1 offense in the league. You know what I'm saying? After we lost, like I said, we lost the league silver bullet. There's one Tyreek. You know what I'm saying? There's just one. There's nobody else that can affect the game like an NBA guy. And you know where we went? we ain't lose our seat on the bus. Right there on top, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that's commendable. And then, like I said, but for Jalen, a guy like Jalen Hurts, and now we don't know going forward. This is the first year that we've seen him at this level and play on this tier at this level. But let's say if this is a year, I don't know if he'll get back to this year. Patty's got 10 more MVP seasons in him. As long as he's healthy, Patty's got 10 more, man. Patty's going to be one of those guys where we get tired of seeing him win. Like what happened with Michael Jordan when Charles Barkley won an MVP. Like we seen happen with LeBron James when Steve Nash won an MVP. We know that was early in LeBron's career, but still, you know what I mean? Like there's going to be he's going to be a guy where every year you can say
he's in the conversation.
He's
in the conversation. Yeah.
If you take Jordan off any team, then you know what I'm saying? So like he's the MVP. If you take LeBron off any of these teams, like no, he's obviously the most valuable player. So that's who Patrick Mahomes is. And so, but a guy like Jalen Hurts, like I just like I said, none of this stuff is promised for any of us, but you know what I'm saying? It's not promised that he has a chance to get that award or get back and be in this position. And so that's why I really hate it for him, man. But I wouldn't at all be upset if Jalen did get it. But like I said, I understand if it goes to Patty. And like I said, you can't be mad at that decision if that's the way it goes. But so I wanted to shout them out, man. And then real quickly as well, man, this is a thing I want to ask you, man. And I'm gonna let you go after this, man. I'm gonna let you go.
No, you good, bro. Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
No, you know, I can't even say that because in fairness, like we said, the Eagles did come out and just put foot to butt, you know what I'm saying, on the Giants. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't want to leave no doubt. And and especially with Jalen Hurts, he came back in, they had the soft free entry, he played the backups, it wasn't that overly impressive, which was another thing as well, where I just didn't know what we were gonna get. And then like I said, we see like y'all thought that's what it was. Like we come out because we 40 yards up top. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And even got his first touchdown. He broke 3 he broke 3 tackles to get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? And so all of that, but this is what I guess I don't like. But again, when it comes out and you when they sprint out the blocks and you walk out the blocks, I kind of get it. Saquon Barkley finishes game 9 for 61. Now, mind you, it's 9 for 61, but he had a 40.
I'm so glad you asked me, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's 9 for 41, but he had a 40-yard run. And so essentially it's 8. You know, if we take away the 40-yard run, you know what I'm saying, it's 8 for 20. And so, but it seems, and this is why I don't even know, because I get it, because you're getting boat raced. And so we can't just give handouts for the sake of getting handouts. But that stat line, 9 for 61, in this game getting blown out by 31, you know what I'm saying? You got, it was 28-0 before I think they even got on the board. Or you know what I'm saying? So you getting ran through. So I get it, but Too often I see this style of stat line, and it's not always in the one that you down 30 points. You know what I'm saying? So now I'll let you make your excuses in a minute, but let me tell you why the boy ain't the best back in the league. Because you can't do like, nah, man, this is inexcusable. I can't have in a playoff game where we die tomorrow. There is no tomorrow, and I'm not putting it on him because he ain't calling his own plays. But I can't figure out what that's about. And I know we talked about the Vikings game, but that game plan I think made sense, and they got that dub. But just I don't know, man. I see a guy who should have all these tools, and not to say that you can't, not for 61, but he only had 2 catches as well, like 2 for 21 as far as the receiving back. So he's got 11 touches in this game for 80 yards and no touchdowns. And it's just I just can't figure your dog out, man. I can't figure it out. You can't nobody argue with his talent, but
yeah, and it's not necessarily figuring him out. You know, it's figuring out him in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, and I've learned this. Winning covers up a lot. Let's just put that out there. Winning covers up a lot. You're not hearing a lot of guys talking about it, but besides me, you're not hearing a lot of analysts or anybody else talking about how Saquon is not getting the ball as much because they've been winning. You know what I mean? But let this would have been a season where they won 5 games, you know, or 6 games or 4 games, and they've been doing the same thing, having Saquon touch the ball 11 times in the game. That's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And to me, if you watch how they use them, yeah, they'll give them a couple carries, and then they might give him the ball out of the backfield on swing routes. You know what I mean? They guard him on swing route. That's the easiest route to guard if you're a running back running the route out of the backfield. And they had somebody on him every single play if you watched it. You know what I'm saying? And the times he did touch the ball, you see what he can do with the ball in his hands. You see him breaking tackles. You see him lowering his shoulder. You see him doing all these different things that makes him special when he has the ball in his hands. But like you said, you can't control how that guy's being used. You can't necessarily control that. What happened is if they run into this, you know, doing it the same thing that they're doing come next season, then you're gonna see or you're gonna hear a lot more people saying, "Hey man, what's going on here? You got this talented running back in your backfield. Why are you not using him more? You know what I'm saying? Why are you not relying on him instead of trying to rely on Daniel Jones?" Which, yeah, I look good against the Vikings. I look good against the Vikings twice. I look good against the Detroit Lions once. 2 defenses that what? Those are the only times he threw for 300 yards this entire season. You know what I mean? Saquon Barkley he's a 1,300-yard back this year. You know what I mean? They started the season off giving him a rock. He's 1,300-yard back. The first half of the season, what was their record, Willie Jack, compared to the second half when they started losing all those games? You know what I mean? It was not saying it was all on the specific. I got you. Here come.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not saying that it was all specifically on them giving the ball more or less to Saquon Barkley. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Saquon Barkley is uber talented. And you see it every time. He's skilled. He can do the things that we've all think that he can do when he got the ball in his hands. But I mean, if I'm being utilized this way, I mean, what more can you do, sir? What more can you do? Go ahead, Willie Jack.
You know, the only thing I was gonna say about that is the Giants this year for me were the Cardinals for you last year. I did that 7-0 was I don't want to say it was. I never had faith in that. That 7-0 was paper and not substance. You know what I'm saying? It was they got those wins, but like I said, it's a funny league, man. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't win those games. They weren't 7-0 because Saquon was out there dominant, breaking boys.
No, you're right. Absolutely,
you know
absolutely.
So yes, that's the only thing I want to say because, like I said, it was one of those. And I don't even know if it was 7-0. I don't think they got the 7-0. I think it was what they start like 5-1. I think it's how they started the season 5-1 or 6-2, something. Yeah, but I think it was 5-1. I think they started the season on 5-1, and they did. But like I said, we got to remember. I think one of those was a bad penalty that gave them a second try, and now a shorter field goal, and they won one. So there was a lot of stuff. Kind of, they got a couple balls to bounce their way, etc. And so they were always, like I said, a little more. They were always kind of. Like they just were always on the right side of the way the ball bounced in these real clutch and coach situations, and that's still a credit to them because if a game's there for the taking, everybody can't take it, you know. So we've seen that as well. So they did find ways to win, but I think this was a team that they were 7-2 and they finished 9-7-1. You know what I'm saying? And so I think what ended up happening is they came back down to earth. They're closer. realistically, they're closer to the team they were the second half of that season than the team they were the first half.
I agree.
Other teams had to do a lot of things wrong for them to get it right in the first half of that season. And so they finished this year 9-7-1. Realistically, it's probably a 5-win team, though. And so that's a credit to their team, and it's a credit to Brian Daboll for
sure
exceeding expectations greatly. And then not only getting yourself in the playoff conversation, which would have been a big win for where that team was at and where they were expected to be. Not only do you get yourself in that conversation, you make it to the dance and you get a win. And so they greatly outperformed themselves. But like we said, man, or like I say, the cream's gonna rise to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's only so long fake thugs can pretend. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody gonna get in that ring, gonna hit you in the mouth, and then what? You know what I'm saying? And so that's the only thing about that. But yeah, man, just somebody's got to unlock Brian Day, or somebody's got to unlock Saquon Barkley. But see, the thing about it is, I kind of agreed with the narrative when it was the prior coaching, because the buddy from the Patriots that came out of nowhere and got a head coach job that still should piss everybody off because it was nonsense. The special teams assistant, Joe Judge gets a blue blood job in New York, man, and brings over Jason Garrett, etc. And so when you've got questionable coaching and stuff in play, then maybe there's something going on. I'm not gonna question Brian Daboll's chop stuff. Like Brian Daboll knows, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can't even give him that excuse no more because I know Daboll's a good coach. You know what I'm saying?
But this is the part of that too, Willie Jack. So I'm not necessarily coaching. I'm not judging Brian Daboll or criticizing Brian Daboll on him as his overall coach, because at the end of the day, you got the wins that you needed to get. You know what I'm saying? But also, at the same time, we just can't look like we seen how they looked the second half of the season. You know what I'm saying? Man, are we saying this exact same thing about Brian Daboll if they have an entire season like that? You know what I'm saying? Like their second half? Because if so, they're not a playoff team. They're not a 500 team. They're below 500 team if they play like the second half of the season. You know what I'm saying? So are we having that same conversation? You know, but and also, like you said, the cream rises to the top. Out of everybody on the Giants team, offense, defense, you know what I'm saying? You saw what happened when Saquon got the ball. On defense, you saw what Dexter Lawrence did on the defense. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how their offense looked, the lack of weapons, or anything on that particular offense, we knew from the beginning the only thing that we can say that, because we've seen it, you know, in years past, yeah, he suffered injuries, but the only thing that was truly like legit was, hey man, if Saquon stay healthy, man, he's legit. And like I said, 1,300 yards later and a few touchdowns, man, the guy's a baller. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I'm not criticizing on him and his wins. He got his wins. You know what I'm saying? Good for you, Brian Daboll. I was rooting for him as coach of the year from in those first few games too. You know what I'm saying? But now you got another season. You know what I mean? And now you got to come back and do it again. The expectations are playoffs now because you made the playoffs. So now when we improve, we start getting better. These are your expectations. So continue to keep this up. You know, do this, and like it's still gonna be eyes on it. You know, it's. Yeah, man. I don't know why he's not being utilized in different ways. But when I watched that game and I seen the way he was utilized, it's definitely a lot more that they can do with him. You know what I'm saying? And it's no way you can put that on him.
Yeah. No, fair point. And another thing as well, man, that we should say before we get out of that one is, as much praise as we give Doug Peterson for what the tangible improvement we saw in Trevor Lawrence, we also have to say Daniel Jones was circling the bus drain. Let us not forget. Daniel Jones about to get paid. Daniel Jones is about to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like now, it's not gonna be record setting breaking the bank. Daniel Jones about to get $30 million though. You know what I'm saying? He's about to get paid, and that's strictly
he is the reason why we even can say right now that Daniel Jones is saying that. We've been saying for a couple years now, like, who is Daniel Jones? Is he a guy? Is he not? Or is he going to be the franchise? Like, what is he? You know what I'm saying? Now everybody's on the side of Daniel Jones is the quarterback for this team.
Yeah, he's the quarterback of that team. He's not a guy yet, but he's definitely cemented himself as the quarterback for that team. And this is the thing about it as well, man. And this is another credit to Brian Daboll, because I see the similarities in how he's using them and how he used Josh. Last game against the Vikings, he had 17 carries for 78 yards, and he also threw for 300 yards. But that's Big Josh. Those are Big Josh numbers. You know what I'm saying? And we saw how much. We saw how much more his running came into play this season, and how much more viable it made him as a quarterback, how much more dangerous it made him as a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's plenty of games. There's at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 games this year where Daniel Jones has, equal to, or he's within 1 or 2 carries of, or he has 3, 4, 5, 6 more carries than Saquon Barkley, and is firmly right there, either the leading rusher, or he's right there in the mix. Like I said, 17 for 78 in a game that Saquon had, I think, 13 carries for 62. You know what I'm saying? Or something.
He almost doubled Saquon in that game. Saquon had 9 carries that game too. 9 carries. 9 of them, bro.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. Oh, he had 13 touches.
Daniel Jones had 17. Well, Daniel Jones had 17. Saquon had 9 of them.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing about Big Josh, and the difference between Big Josh and Daniel Jones is, well, Big Josh ain't got nobody back here but Devin Singletary and rookie James Cook. They got rid of Zach Moss. He's got a room full of names. Well, Daniel Jones,
that makes sense, right?
Daniel Jones supposed to have one of them ones back there. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the only difference there. But I did want to shout out Brian Daboll, man. This coach of the year, this year's coach of the year is, man, I can't think of a more hotly contested one, because as much credit as I want to give a guy like Doug Peterson, as much credit as I want to give a guy like Brian Daboll, you know what I'm saying? I still, in my mind, I'm not going to let that overshadow the job that an Andy Reid or that a Nick Sirianni did or that a Kyle Shanahan did. Because it's one thing, like going from an F tier team, I'm just using, you know what I'm saying, just going from an F tier team to a C tier team, like, yeah, that's a massive improvement. But going from maintaining A- level is its own challenge. You still didn't even get here, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Also, you went from the very bottom to the middle of the pack. Man, that's awesome. Everybody expected you to be a complete, utter loser, and you're not. That's awesome. You still ain't up here, bro. It's still, so that's how I look at it, man. But at the same time, it's like, man, but I want to credit and reward these guys as well, because let's say they took a team further, you know what I'm saying? But getting to the top is its own challenge as well, and then staying there consistently. And so that, man, this year's coach of the year, man, those would be the 4 names I would put forward, man. Andy Reid, Sirianni, Shanahan, Daboll, or so 5 then Daboll and Peterson, man. Those would be the 5 I put on my. And then, like I said, man, I can make an argument for all of them, but yeah, no. So kudos to them, man. Kudos to Brian Daboll, man. I'm excited to see what they do going forward. Now you got to get some weapons. Isaiah Hodgins was a 4th string receiver in Buffalo. He comes over to Buffalo, and you know what? It just hit me right now. Shout out to our dog Miles, man, in the building. Shout out to our dog Miles. He said the last 8 games, Barkley averaged 13 carries for 60 yards over those last 8. They also the mid-season addition of Isaiah Hodgins, because if you remember, they got no production from those receivers the first half of the season. And then the passing game picked up drastically, you know what I'm saying, once they got Isaiah Hodgins, and then that's where you see he has a pretty good year. Richie James comes on, you know what I mean? But adding him to that room, bringing him over from Buffalo, and so he knew what he had over in this guy that was on the bottom of their bench, and he comes over in his integral part, and then it helps just get his offense moving and grooving. And then we see the first half of this year was Saquon's year, right? The second half of that year was definitely Daniel Jones' year. And so now going forward, let's see them put that together. You know what I mean? And then also they got to get somebody outside, and they need a real weapon. Like I said, Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, the long lost Kenny Galladay. I don't know where you went. You man, talk about a smooth criminal. Boy.
He had a good block. He had one good block last week.
Man, they paid $60 million for it. That's the only thing he did all year. They gave him $60 million for that block. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? So I do want to see, kind of like I said, where Brian Daboll takes this thing, man, where this thing goes, especially, man, let him get a weapon. Let him get just one. Let him get one over. You know what I mean? And let's see how that thing builds up, man. And then, hey, baby sis in the building, man. She said, good point, Chop. First off, man, you don't come in here and give a Chop no compliments. You ain't say what's up to your big brother first. That's number one. You do the first thing first. That's what I tell these kids, man. Do the first thing first. Yeah, baby sis in the building.
And obviously the first thing was recognizing when Chop talking. You know what I'm saying? When Chop spitting that game. You know what I'm saying? Hey, one other thing I do want to point out too, Willie Jack, just an interesting little fact. So you know that the saying is, it's hard to beat the NFL team 3 times in the season, right? It's hard to beat the NFL team. We got the Eagles, they beat the Giants 3 times, and then you have the 49ers beat the Seahawks 3 times, you know, going into these playoffs, man. So, hey, that goes out the window when you a superior team. When you just really that much better.
With the Eagles and Giants for sure, because like I said, the Giants, and I'm not trying to bag on them because I do want to commend the job they did in performing Brian Daboll, but they were fool's gold from the jump. I've been on that. They were definitely fool's gold. Now the Seahawks were similar to those Giants. Those teams are both actually very similar. Teams that were expected to still be picking top 5 in this year's draft, and both those teams come out, they rally. They both, I think, both of them start the year 5-2, 5-3, or I think the Giants started out 5-1, and I think the Seahawks came out like 4-2 or so. So both of them really just kind of surprised everybody, and then they both kind of came back down to earth, right? And then they both kind of finish and finish off and get themselves into the dance. But their stories really mimic each other. Just the trajectory of those teams, but both of them, when it's all said and done, could be. I mean, they were both fool's gold. Is the only thing about that. Now, when the Steelers, we tripled up on the Ravens, but it wasn't no soft touch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those was Ali Frazier fights. You know what I'm saying? Like it was when we were both very competent teams, and we three-peated them one year when we one of those years we went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, in this one, man, it was real gold and fool's gold, man. And like I said, the cream rises to the top, man. If you ain't one of the ones, man, you can only pretend for so long until you get in there with a real one. Then we see what's up, and that's what happened in both those instances with the Niners and the Eagles against those teams.
For sure, Willie Jack. And we about halfway through it now, Willie Jack. We about halfway through, man. We got 2 more games to get through. The games that's coming on today, man. We got a 2:00 game and a 5:30 game. But before we get into those, Willie Jack, I think it's about time you talk to him, man. Let them know what's going on, man.
Today's episode of Chop Willie in the Morning, hosted you by the wonderfully intelligent and handsome brothers from Let the Film Speak. That's Chop Willie Jack. Y'all know what's going on. Brought to you by the sponsorship, man. Come on with it, man. We got Prospect Precision Paint, man, holding us down all the way from Atlanta, man. That's an Atlanta-based paint and drywall restoration company now. They go everywhere. They can get to a city near you. Find those boys online, man. They across Facebook, they on Instagram. Man, I'm sure all the major platforms, man. Prospect and Precision Painting, like I said, man, they'll get to you, but they are Atlanta-based, man. So do good business there, man. Brought to you by our dogs, man. Know what's the podcast, man. They know what's going on, man. They hold us down a long way, man. That's day one gang right there, man. Our dog brother Red, man. Joseph Kenny, man. Eclectic, wide range of topics over there, man. Everything from music, sports, everything, man. He does a lot over there, man. A lot of great content, a lot of interesting takes over there, man. Go shop and do business with my dog, man. That's No Votes to the Podcast. Brought to you by our dogs for real deal, STL Sports. Man, always hold us down, man. That's our dog, James Skinny Ward. That's our dog, Kevin Wilkerson, man. Now, they do more so focus on the greater St. Louis area sports scene. They get real deep and heavy into the high school sports aspect as well, man. So, man, very good content over there as well, especially if you're local to St. Louis or local to the greater Missouri, Illinois area. You know what I'm saying? So excellent content over there as well, man. So tap in and show love to those guys as well. Brought to you by our dogs, man. No balls, no glory, man. Check them boys out on Thursdays, man. It's sports related as well, man. They get heavy into football. They get heavy into fantasy as well. And I believe they also kind of maybe touch a couple other sports as well. Every here and now and again as well. But man, tap in with those guys as well, man. Find those boys on YouTube, man, on Thursday, man. Man, where's the rest of the fam, man? Man, we got one more, man. I'll try to tell you, big time.
Shout out Stink Prince, man. Shout out
Stink Prince, man. Like I said, man. So vinyl shirt printing, man. Vinyl shirt printing and pressing, man. So you can find them online as well, man. They take orders and man, they can ship it to you anywhere, man. So let's say you got a bachelor party coming up, man. You got a bachelorette party. Everybody want to be in the building. You know what I'm saying? With your bachelor and bachelorette fitted outfits on, man. Or matching t-shirts on. Everybody know we in here. When you see us, what we doing, man? We in here because it's you know what I'm saying? It's Shonda's last dance. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want matching shirts, man? Holla at Stink Prince, man. They can get it to you. Like I said, man. They I think they are out of the Dallas area, but like I said, find them online, man. They can ship it to anywhere to you. You know what I'm saying? So, man, yeah, do good business with good. We're trying to do good business with people to do business with us. Showing the love, man. We get so much love, we got to give it back, man. That's what it's about. And then last but not least, man, you know what's going on, man. Shout out to them 3 amigos, man. That's like, share, subscribe, man. Man, 3 the hard way, man. That's a 3-piece spicy. Y'all know what's going on with that. But hey, man, we appreciate all that love for sure, man. So we want to make sure we shout out the dogs, man. Shout out the ones that's holding us down behind the scenes, man. So appreciate all the love, fellas and ladies. And so appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have fun, be safe this weekend, man, as we get into it. And now back into the regular schedule programming, Chop.
All right, man. Let's get on to it, Willie Jack. The first one on the slate, man, the 2:00 game. We got your boy, man, Big Josh Allen, hosting the Cincinnati Bengals today, man. Cincinnati, they go to Buffalo, man. This is going to be a tough one, man. The one that we was waiting for a few weeks ago, that due to unfortunate circumstances and unfortunate events, we didn't get a chance to see that. But hey, we get to see it today. We get to see it today. We got Cincinnati Bengals going to see Buffalo. Willie Jack, who you got, man? And tell me why.
Oh, man. Y'all know it's Big Josh, man. Big Josh in this thing, man. Do it for Damar, man. Just like Chop said, man. This was a heavyweight fight, man. At the end of the season here, that we really didn't get to see because of circumstances, man. We know what's going on with Damar. You know what I'm saying? So we know what's going on with that, man. Big to football. We're so happy to see that he has, like I said, he's on the track to recovery, and so we can't ask no more than that. But a game that had tons of number one seed implications. Buffalo was the number one seed going into that game. Cincinnati had a shot at the number one seed. They win that game, and I think they needed and they had the tiebreaker over Kansas City. So there's a lot of stuff was in play there, and then we know how things shook out. And so now Cincinnati gets to run that back. And so I know they got a lot on their mind, man. They were already selling. The NFL was already selling tickets to the NFL game in Atlanta for the neutral site, which means that the NFL is selling tickets for the Bills versus Chiefs. So they were selling tickets for the Bills versus Chiefs before, as early as like 4 days ago. That is wildly disrespectful, bro. If I'm Cincinnati, you can't take that any other way other than disrespectful. And they did take it that way. And so, and all kudos and credit to them. The only thing about this, man, which I hate for Joe Burrow, man, for Joe Beasley, he's going into this one wounded, man. So Joe Burrow has accomplished more with probably the worst line we've seen and one of the worst lines we've seen in recent memory. And regardless of the additions, and now he's got two more of those guys out. So Jonah Williams is out, Alex Kappa is out. Kappa was the offseason addition from Tampa Bay, I believe. And then, of course, Jonah Williams, the guy they had drafted first-round guy, and he's been in and out with injury. But I think both those guys are – I think it's Jonah Williams. I know they got a tackle in the guard, a starting tackle, and Alex Kappa, the guard, for sure out. I believe it's Jonah – was it Jonah Williams?
I think it is Jonah Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, Jonah Williams and Alex Kappa. They both out.
Okay, yeah.
Jonah Williams and Alex Kappa.
Okay, yeah. And so now he's got half his offensive line is out. And this is the thing about it. As bad as that line is – those were the two, they were the starters. So for a poor offensive line, as bad as it is, well, these are two of the best we got, and now these guys are out. And so with a team in Buffalo, man, that they do get after the passer. Now, not to the level of, let's say, Philly, but no, they get busy now. So don't be fooled. They go about 6 or 7 deep on that defensive line as well, and especially in a game where we know Buffalo, we know Big Josh, he's coming out, he's looking to take somebody's soul. You know what I'm saying? Big Josh is looking for them 60-yard daggers. You know what I mean? And so, and once he gets them, then that defense, that's where that defense is built for, because they do want to rush the passer. They do want Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds. They want those guys free to roam and get into deep drop zones. They want these guys to be able to route it to flats and shut stuff down before guys get lost. Both of these guys are pretty secure tacklers. Like, that's how this defense operates, by forcing you to play catch up so they can really tee off on you. And if that's what happens today, then, man, this could be a very long, ugly day for Joe Burrow now. But now on the other side of that, and here's a credit to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow ain't worried about none of that. Joe Burrow ain't worried about none of that. You know why? This is why I tell y'all, because he won them ones. He won them ones. I've seen him do it. I've seen him take 10 sacks in the road against number one seed Tennessee. Ask Chop what happened.
In the playoff game. In a playoff game.
Tell him what happened, Chop. Didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Cincinnati Bengals took her business.
Went to the Super Bowl. Because it didn't matter, because he won them ones. You know what I'm saying? So just for that reason, man, I know what's up with Joe Burrow. I'm not gonna cut. If I'm low, and I know they think like this anyway. They know they got a dogfight coming, because Joe's not gonna roll over. Joe's not gonna lay down. You know what I'm saying? And so hitting Joe Burrow ain't got nothing to do with Joe Burrow's program. He said, I'm still going up top. I still got Jamar. I still got T. Higgins. I got Joe Mixon. Every 6 games, sometimes he shows up and reminds everybody he used to be a Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? So there's still talent on the outside team, and so I'm super excited to see them because even though I expect, you know what I'm saying, Big Josh to do what he got to do, we got places to go. You know what I'm saying? And y'all just bump on this road, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying, Joe Burrow. But I'm excited because I know Joe Burrow is going to die hard. You know what I'm saying? I know he ain't going to lay it down. I know, like you said, and this is the thing about Joe Burrow as well. Joe Burrow seen them ticket sales. Joe Burrow know he got 2 guys out. Joe Burrow know what people say about him. Joe's one of them guys where he's like, oh, they got me. Oh, they got me messed up. Oh, I can't do this because of that. We can't do this because of that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Joe Burrow come out here and we get some early fireworks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Big Josh goes down the field, or like I said, let's say if we get a little bad Big Josh. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we get a little bit of over aggressive Big Josh, and you give one to Joe. Joe ain't Skylar Thompson. Joe cashing in. Joe cashing them checks. And so, like I said, so this game for me, man, is still Joe Shiesty. Hey, shout out to our dog Jeff, man. Hey, he know what's going on, man. Joe Burr in the building, man. Joe Shiesty. So yeah, Joe ain't taking no shorts, man. And so Joe ain't worried about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Joe said, hey, the Bengals play at 2:00. I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I think they asked about the Bengals championship window. He said, shit, how long I'm gonna be here? Because we got a championship window as long as I'm in Cincinnati. And that's real. That's what I'm telling you, bro. It's different when you got one-on-ones because he's right. Chiefs are a champion contender as long as Patty there. The Bills will be in this discussion as well as long as Big Josh there. You know what I'm saying? Because they got one-on-ones, and that's what it's about, man. So I can't wait to see this game. Now, I am taking my dog Big Josh in the game.
Of course, as you should.
And I'm going to give you a score. I'm going to go 31-24 because I think there's going to be a point in this game where there's only so much Joe can do. And I think the Bills being at home, DeMar Hamlin, like I said, man, the Bills don't need any juice. You know what I'm saying? The Bills don't need any more gas on their fire, man. This is a team that's there. Sometimes it feels like teams are playing for more than just the win. We saw New Orleans how they played after the hurricane, like the way that team rallied. They go on to win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, man, like you find something to rally and refill it. You know what I'm saying? It's a long NFL season. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you can find something at this point of the year, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's running a marathon. Marathon's 26 miles. Everybody's on mile 25 right now. Everybody's dog tired right now. Well, the Bills got a little pick-me-up. You know what I'm saying? The Bills got a little extra juice than everybody else has got. You know what I'm saying? They do it for DeMar. They do it for 3. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not sure if he's going to be in the building. I think he's been there. I would imagine he's going to be in the building today. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he came out that last game. He didn't make it, not on game day. But I would imagine he's going to be there, man. And that's going to give – and just him being there, that crowd, that team, like I said, man, it really feels like there's just going to be a lot to overcome and beating that Buffalo team. Even that Buffalo team flat, that's a lot to overcome. Now you give them a little bit of extra juice, a little bit of extra motivation, something else to take with them. And if one guy's going to do it, though, Chop, it's that guy right there. It's Joe Beasley. It's Joe Shiesty. It's Joe Burr. If one guy's going to do it, he will be the guy to do it. So I ain't going to put it past him. And so I do think that that Joe battles in this game, man. Die hard, man. That's what it's about. I just don't want to see like I really feel like Justin Herbert rolled over in that second half of that game last week. And I said I'm gonna leave the boy alone, but that's what it felt like. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry he's always the example, but Joe Burrow will not roll over. You know what I'm saying? They will fight until the last death, and I think he keeps this game respectable. I think it's one of those ones where, like we saw for Jacksonville for a different reason, that's a 7-point game. Kansas City was 17 points better than Jacksonville, though. You know what I'm saying? And so I think in this game, what I say, just 31-24. And so that's a one-score game, it's a 7-score game. But I think this is one where that game's that close because they got Joe Burrow on that sideline and no other reason other than that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I expect it to go. But yeah, man, hate that it has to happen like this for Joe Burrow and those Bengals. Well, I ain't gonna say I hate to see it happen because they still the Bengals. You feel me? But yeah, man. So I expect Joe to go out there and do what he got to do and handle his business, man. But I just think he ain't gonna have enough bullets in the gun. You know what I'm saying? He got a knife in this gunfight, unfortunately.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. I like that, man. And I'm gonna have to go with you on this one, Willie Jack, man. I'm gonna have to go with you, dog. I'm gonna have to go with you. I'm gonna have to go Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills today. Okay.
Who?
That what I say? What did I say? Who did I say?
I lagged. My bad. He said, "Oh, my fault." Yeah, I lagged. Big Josh. That's what. Okay. Big Josh. I got the big guy. Big Josh. Okay.
That's what you heard. That's what you heard. Big Josh.
Yeah, my fault. You stuttered. Yeah.
All right. I'm going Big Josh Allen.
My dog.
And the Buffalo Bills, man. I got them at home today. So here, before I get into the game, I'm gonna say this too. The Cincinnati Bengals are getting the short end of the stick in this game. And I forgot somebody made a post and pointed it out, you know, and I think a player actually made a post about it too. Was why aren't the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills playing at a neutral? You know what I'm saying? This particular game, I think they very well should be, simply because Bengals definitely had a chance of being a home team in this game, or could have been the home team in this game, because if that game is finished and Cincinnati wins that game, Buffalo got to go see Cincinnati. You know what I mean? That's where they got to go to play this game.
Number 1 seed. They got the tiebreaker.
Exactly.
The Chiefs. They're the number 1 seed.
No, because they was a game. They were still a game behind the Chiefs. The Chiefs won. They were still a game behind.
The Chiefs didn't lose. If the Chiefs would have lost, they had the tiebreaker. You're right. I'm sorry.
No, they would have had the number 2 seed instead, and Buffalo would have had the 3. But still, Buffalo would be going to see Cincinnati at this moment right now. So they got the short end of the stick there, and instead now you got Cincinnati actually going to Buffalo, to play there in their hometown. Okay, cool, whatever. That's one obstacle that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to overcome. So I feel like this game definitely should have been at a neutral site. Now let's go to the next thing. Okay, let's get into the game. Buffalo Bills, I got them in this particular game strictly because of the offensive line. All right, that offensive line going out, I think it's going to hurt them more than a lot of people think. A lot of us have been seeing the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow still been able to be successful in these games, even with a lot of pressure being on him. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's going to be the case in this particular one, because that's not the case against all teams. Against that Tennessee team where Joe Burrow got sacked, his defense also got him 3 turnovers. You know what I mean? Well, at least 3 turnovers, because Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions. And that's one thing. And that's one thing that Cincinnati Bengals defense does well, is they take that ball away. You know what I mean? So that's what they was able to do against that Tennessee team that still allowed them to be in position to win. As they capitalize on a lot of Ryan Tannehill's mistakes. Now, on the other side of that, Josh Allen, he does make a few mistakes. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's going to put points on the board, put a lot of them on the board. And he'll strike you at the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? Like I said, I ran off the drives again last week, those 2-minute, 3-minute drives, 68 yards, something like that. That was going for touchdowns. You know what I mean? He's not going to have those Ryan Tannehill-esque mistakes that gave the Cincinnati Bengals an opportunity to win that game. You know what I mean? Now, again, I do expect them to have a few turnover-worthy plays, but I don't think it's going to be enough to put the Cincinnati Bengals in position to really win this one. Okay. Now let's go to the other side of that. Okay. Now with Joe Burrow and this offensive line and those issues, I think he's going to get sacked a lot. Right. He's going to get sacked a lot, but being sacked a lot and then having to overcome that with a lot of points, it's going to be a huge gap to kind of fill for that Cincinnati Bengals team. Okay. That's also going to affect how Joe Burrow is going to be able to connect with his weapons on the outside. You know what I mean? With Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you know what I'm saying? Those type of guys. I think that pressure is going to be enough to throw just a little bit off, throw a little bit of that, the timing off between him and his receivers. And I see Jeff Walker coming in and saying, yes, it will. I know you saying that because you don't want to see, you probably worried about seeing Buffalo in the championship game, but that's okay. We'll talk about that another time. Yeah, that's what he's worried about. If you rather play Cincinnati, now tell me you rather see Cincinnati. But I think those are going to be the specific keys in this particular game for each of the teams. Cincinnati is going to have to capitalize on them turnovers, and they're going to have to some way, somehow develop a run game. You know, Joe Mixon is going to have to be the key in this particular game and put them in position. If they put in position, Joe Burrow can do the rest. But that's what they're going to have to do in this particular game, okay? And for Josh Allen, come on and do what y'all been doing, man. Let your defense help you eliminate those mistakes, but play your game. Use your legs. Do all the things that you used to doing. Don't force the ball. If it comes down to it, live to play another down. Take a sack or use them legs and get out the pocket and get those rushing yards. This may be one of those 15 rushes for 78-yard type of game and a touchdown for Josh Allen in order for them to come away with a W. So those are the things that they're going to actually have to do and that in order to come away with it, and I see it happening. Josh Allen and them boys, they wanted too much. Like you said, you already mentioned the energy that they coming with in this particular game, them being at home, and everything else that's going into it. They don't need any extra juice. I got Buffalo winning this game. I think those two offensive linemen being hurt for Cincinnati is going to be super key. And I got this final score being 27-24, man. 27-24. Buffalo wins this game over Cincinnati.
Gotcha. My dog.
Yeah, so I'm rolling with that one, man. And on to the last one, man. And like I said, man, I told y'all these games today probably going to be the best games. You know, these are going to be the best games of this divisional round weekend, and I'm excited to see this one as well. I'm excited because, well, first and foremost, we got the Dallas Cowboys going to see the San Francisco Wild Machines. That's what we got going in this game. Okay, so I'm excited because for once, well, not for once, last week in the playoffs in a meaningful game, we got Dallas being showing that they or they can be the team that was fighting all year long. You know what I mean? A team that was really right in contention and really had a chance up until the last week of the season to be the overall number one seed in the NFC. Let's know that to the wayside, just because we've seen some inconsistencies from Cowboys. The Cowboys all year long have shown that they could possibly be the number one seed. You know what I'm saying? So we got that. And if they play like they played last week, that's the team we're going to get against this. Like I said, the Wild Machines, the 49ers, a team that since Brock Purdy has taken over as a quarterback, hasn't lost a game. We talking about Mr. Irrelevant as an undefeated quarterback his rookie year in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of credit goes to Kyle Shanahan, man. Kyle Shanahan, he's put together a will-oiled machine. Like I said before, they got a lot of different weapons. This is another team that actually plays bully ball. You know what I mean? They will come in, they will hit you right in the mouth. They're gonna run down your throat. It ain't no secret what we do. You know, I throw some wrinkles in there. I got a pretty good and creative offensive genius that's calling these plays. But for the most part, man, we physical. We're gonna hit you right in the mouth.
Exactly.
We're gonna come out with our boom box.
Yeah.
Debo and Trent Williams leading the way, like, hey, look, man, you know, walk in your trap, take over your trap. Even though they at home, that's the type of energy that they bring in. They bringing that each and every game. We saw Debo last week, and he's back fully healthy, and the type of difference that he can make. So this is what we're getting. We're getting the clash of this. You know what I mean? And I think the difference in this game is going to be that defense on Dak. We've all seen Dak under pressure, and Dak when he's going against some good defenses. That's when we see him fold. That's when he doesn't look like that mid to lower tier Dak. The Dak that throws out of interceptions. The Dak that led the league in interceptions, you know what I'm saying, after missing, you know, with missing 5 games this season. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of Dak that we see when defenses put pressure on him. And the one of the keys is going to be Tyron Smith. He's now playing right tackle. Okay, which means you got another guy over that left tackle position where Nick Bosa is going to be.
No, but I think Jason Peters is out in this game because he had been playing on that left side for them, the old Eagles. Let me see if I can find that. Or unless I'm tripping, I think the Cowboys. I'm glad I just thought of it now. I think they've got somebody missing from their line as well. I want to say they left tackle's going to be out. Well, I'm looking for. As soon as you just said that, it reminded me.
So Tyler Smith is playing left tackle for them.
Yeah, he's moving back to the left because the left tackle's out. Yeah, they had moved him to the right.
Which means Tyler Smith is going to have a long day dealing with Nick Bosa on that side. That's going to be a long day for that boy. You're talking about the defensive player of the year. You're talking about the defensive player of the year, and you're talking about your quarterback's blind side. You know what I mean? That's going to be a long day. And then you also have, you know, what's your boy, the guard, the Zach Martin. He's gonna have his hands full with what's my tackle name? Armstead. Eric Armstead. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be another one of those matchups too, Willie Jack, that you talked about with the Eagles and the Giants. That's gonna be a great matchup. You know what I mean? And seeing those guys, you know, in the trenches go at it. Now, Nick Bosa and Tyler Smith, I don't necessarily see that being that good of a matchup, but I want to see. If they get in some trouble this game, do they move Tyron Smith over there and say, "Hey man, I need you to go help us out here. I need you to go take care of that." Go ahead. What you say?
Well, I was gonna say the only thing I was gonna say is I don't think they'll probably move him when they go into the game. I think they'll probably just sit because the one of the most important things for offensive line, like you want to get the best 5 you can get, but more so than the individual best 5, you want consistency is the main thing. Sure. So I think they practiced all week. They go into this game. Tyron Smith he was a right tackle at USC when he got drafted. He was like 19 years old when he got drafted. They moved him to left, and then he thrived there. He was an All-Pro for a decade, etc. And then he gets injured and banged up. They moved him right, and so I think going in this week, I wouldn't think they switch it. But one thing I was gonna say is I also don't want us to give a little more credit to this Dallas front as well, because we know Michael Parsons, he's the flash, man, and he's electric, and he deserves everything he gets. He's an All-Pro this year, and I'm not mad at it because he did deserve it. You know what I'm saying? But Tank Lawrence on the other side playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Tank Lawrence on the other side of the offensive line, man, he's playing real good ball. He's playing damn good ball. And then man, their third rotation guy, who's now I can't think of his name, but damn. It's gonna come to me in a minute, man. But he had 8 sacks. He had like eight and a half sacks as well. And so they've got their own little rotation, man. And that front really gets after it. And then also, Brock Purdy's been impressive, but for the most part, he's been impressive because he's part of that machine. But that Dallas defense will turn the ball over as well. You've got Trayvon Diggs. We know what's going on with Trayvon. You know what I'm saying? You put one up, you put those up, and those are 50-50 balls for him as well. You know what I'm saying? And then I love Donovan Wilson, man, what he brings in the box, his physicality. He's a guy that he's a guy, and I'm not going to disrespect your dog, but he's the style of enforcer that puts me in the mind of Cam Chancellor. Like a guy that will really come down there, boy, and clean your damn whistle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming down there to lay you out. Like, the ball be damned. Somebody got to pay. You know what I'm saying? He's coming like that. So I really like, man. Now he ain't Cam. I know Cam was Chop's dog, if y'all know.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't going that far, but that's the type of role he plays for them, man. And then just that Cowboys defense is pretty. It's just they're deep. J. Ryan Curse as well, man. So they've got a lot of guys back there that make plays on the ball. So this is definitely a heavyweight matchup, man. For both these offenses, I want to see with both these offenses how they handle the pressure in the play of both these defenses, which can be stout. Now, the Cowboys, of course, we've seen some, just like I said, we've seen inconsistencies with them offensively, man. Like I said, in those moments where Dak has to kind of press to make a play or press to go a little bit above and beyond, that definitely where we see those turnovers come, man. And so, just like I said, it's all about just seeing, I guess, who's the first one going to bend a break in that aspect. Man. Oh, man, I cut you off before you gave me a score. My bad.
You good. But I'm glad you said that, but because that was the next part I was going to get into this game. Okay, this is what Shanahan does, and I'm talking about the Dallas defense. I know the Dallas defense is good, but the thing that they do well is they rush the passer. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. What Shanahan is going to do in this particular game, which I'm glad you also mentioned Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson is going to have a big game if they want to have a chance of winning this game. Because what the 49ers do well, first off, they run the ball well. And the Dallas Cowboys hasn't done a good job all season at stopping the run. If there's any part of their defense that's been a weak point, it's been that run defense. So they're definitely going to get ran at. They're also going to get the pass rush, I think, is going to get neutralized a little bit, because also what San Francisco does, of course, they do a lot of play action, they do a lot of screens, and the type of passes that they throw are really, really quick passes. So they're gonna those defensive ends. Michael Parsons is going to have his IQ game on in terms of play recognition, understanding what the offensive line is trying to do to you, understand what their offense is trying to do to you on the different plays, you know, in order to be good. Because what they'll do is they'll RPO you to death and hit Brandon Ayuk on those slants or
quick seams
or those deep digs or whatever across the middle all day long. They'll do that and bang you on that all day long. And then on top of that, then once they start doing that and you start going to the inside, there you go with Deebo Samuel right on the outside. But then now you got essentially whether you want to say it's 2 Deebo Samuels or 2 Christian McCaffreys. However you want to use, both of those guys are weapons to where they can do just about anything. They can do a lot of the same things. Christian McCaffrey can go out there and run it right out of the slot or whatever the case may be, and Deebo can run the ball out the backfield. You know what I'm saying? Or they can vice versa, switch that up. You know, so they can do a lot of different things with it. So their defense, I know they're good, and when they're able to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, that's what makes them the best. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that. They're going to have their IQ on this game. They're going to have to be on point in terms of that. So that's what they're going to have to do in terms of that what they're bringing to the table, which is why I go on San Francisco in this game. I'm going San Francisco in this game. I got them over Dallas. I got the Well Machines winning this game, and give them 30 in this one. Man. Give them 30 to 23. 30 to 23 in this game. I think it's going to be trouble for them boys. Dallas comes out. They come out a little bit of hot. They come out with, with a couple plays and a few things they're able to do to throw this San Francisco defense off a little bit. But it's gonna be hard for your boy today, man. It's gonna be hard for TP. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have Fred Warner following him, man. And Fred Warner ain't no slouch. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have that. He also gonna have Tyler Noah Hufanga, creeping in the wings. You know what I'm saying? All pro safety coming ready to come down and lay some wood. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna have to be a CD day, a big CD Lamb day for sure. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Dak is going to have to step up. So if we're relying on Dak and CD to be the main guys in this game, I'm going San Francisco, man. I'm going San Francisco and their totality of weapons and the things that they can do in the game.
No, I got it. And I'm going to take San Francisco as well, man. I'm going to take San Francisco in this one because, like I said, I don't want anything to get in the way of that 7-way matchup, man. This, I think, is going to be a closer game, though, and I wish my dog Tom was in the chat, man, our dog Tom Walker, man, because this is what he's been calling for when we talk about Brock Purdy, and I think he was saying it last week as well, is that he still wants to see Brock Purdy face, like, real pressure from a defense just as strong as his. And I think the closest thing that he's going to get to that is going to be Dallas, and then assuming they beat Dallas if they go play Philly, which would be the ultimate test for sure. But this Dallas defense, just to that aspect, getting after him and really kind of forcing his hand and seeing, like I said, who is he when he's going to be off script? And I'm not talking about like one or two flash throws here because we have seen that, especially even last week in that Seahawks game. That Seahawks game was a tell-two head. That first half was ugly, or not ugly, but it was unimpressive ball. I mean, it wasn't the guy he was in the second half. And even in that second half where he made a couple of those splash throws, but it still wasn't necessarily clean. He still goes 18 for 32 in that game. You know what I'm saying? So, or something close to that. And so I do think that Dallas has a chance to really come out there and really put really make him show his worth. Prove your worth. Don't ride in this car. You know what I'm saying? Just like we talked about before, where we talked about Belichick making you play left-handed. Like in this game, if I'm Dallas, Brock Purdy's got to beat me. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be Debo. It's not going to be C-Mac. It can't be Kittle.
But how do you stop all those guys, though? How do you stop all of them?
No, but that's what I'm saying. So to their point, like I'm loading that box because for one, we know San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, we know they want to run the ball. So everything that they do, all the pretty things that they do, all those little misdirection, all the play action, all the little things that we do, because it's all built off of that pin and pull run game and that counter that they like so much. You know what I'm saying? And then it's, of course, like misdirection with Debo, or just getting involved in it. So everything that they do has to happen off that. And so I want to see it loaded up. Just like you said, I also have, as far as defense goes, because I know who and what Micah is. I know he's an elite tier 1 guy on defense. I know what Tank Lawrence is. You know what I'm saying? He's a very, very competent Robin now. You know what I'm saying? To Michael Parsons' Batman. We know what Trayvon Diggs is. Donovan Wilson is the guy that I'm looking for. Just like you said, he's got to be that guy. He's got to be that Cam Chancellor. He's got to be the one that keeps them honest. He's got to be the one that on 2nd and 8, he doesn't let it become a 3rd and 2, because then you playing in the San Francisco wheelhouse. Man, Kyle Shanahan got 80 plays for 3rd and 2. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you see, that's where real talk, because everything's going to come off that run action. And now I get to pick, man, I'm in the candy store. Brock, choose your flavor, Brock. It's 32. I'm going to bring him in with this play action. And then what? You want Kittle? You want Kittle up the seam? You want Ayuk on a slant coming behind him? You want Debo on a deep dig coming across? You know what I'm saying? What do you want, bro? You want C-Mac wheeling up the sideline? You know what I'm saying? That's where this game is at. So it's got to be a guy like that.
You just came up with a nice little play there, dog. Hey, you might want to go coach a little bit, dog. You might want to go coach.
You see what I did there, man?
You got the seam with the slant coming underneath. We got the D coming on from the outside.
Come on, man. And then get my C-Mac wheel. Come on, man.
get my C-Mac Will. Hey, man.
Hey, y'all stop playing with me, man.
Y'all need any of y'all teams, man, need offensive coordinators. Tampa Bay Bucks need one, Willie Jack. You know, Chargers need an offensive coordinator.
I mean, hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. They called, but I told them I'm really a defensive guy, man. I'm holding out. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding out for them defensive positions, man. You know what I'm saying? I really, you know what I'm saying? I want my dogs hunting. You know what I'm saying? I need my dogs hunting, man. I don't want, you know, I feel like on offense, I feel like I'm defending. I'd rather attack. You feel me? But yeah, man. But for real, so it's got to be a guy like Donovan Wilson that comes in there and makes sure that 2nd and 8 is 3rd and 6. You know what I'm saying? Second and 8 is 3rd and 8. 2nd and 8 is 3rd and 7. You know what I'm saying? He's got to keep it to where. Try to make it left-handed. Like I said, I just don't want it to be set up. Just try to prevent it from being a layup line for Brock Purdy, because you know what I'm saying. Because everybody can hit the layup line. Everybody can't dunk, but everybody should be good for a layup. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the league, you can lay it up. Everybody can't dunk. Everybody can lay it up. You feel me? And so that's what I want to see. So can Dallas do that? And a guy like Donovan Wilson, a guy like J. Ron Curse, a guy like Leighton Vander Esch, you know what I'm saying, who's still there. And so these other guys, though, that's the point I'm making is the stars are going to do what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to get 6 pressures this game from Mike Parsons. You know what I'm saying? I know Trayvon's going to be doing what he's got to do. And so it's got to be these other guys that really show up today and really, like I said, make this game, make this a Brock Purdy game. And so to that point, man, like I said, I do think it's close. I do think that Dallas, man, coming off of the very impressive and dominant win over Tampa Bay, who was also a little fool's goal as well. And so I don't want to discount that. You know what I mean? So, but I do want to see how he stands up. And I think Dallas comes out there extremely motivated. Another thing I wanted to mention, I'm glad I remember to hear, this is a revenge game for Dallas. Dallas got knocked out by the Niners last year at their crib. There's nothing more they would want to do right now than return the favor to San Francisco. And let's not forget how that game played out. And so it was a very tough and hard-fought game, of course. And then Dallas with some poor time management and some crazy stuff going on. Dak's trying to run. He's trying to slide. He's trying to spike it. He handed the ball to the referee. The referee wanted to sit there. I mean, everything. Dallas. You feel me? Dallas. That's what they did. That's what happened. Dallas last year to lose that game. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a game that if without the time blunder and all that other foolishness, they were going to spike it and kick a field goal to win that game. Now, it was going to be a 50-yarder. And man, well, that 50 yards ain't promised. We seen Maher go 0 for 4 just last week on extra points.
It was rough for my boy, man. It was rough.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing about Maher. You're probably more comfortable with him kicking for 50 than you are from 20 for the extra point. Yeah, he's got a tremendous leg, and so there's a little bit of get back for them as well. And this is an old school rivalry as well. This was the matchup of the 90s. You know what I mean? The Niners and the Cowboys, man, the dominant run that the Cowboys had, they went through the Niners a lot of those times. You know what I mean? And so an old school rivalry game and an old school matchup. And like I said, two teams, man, I think do like this is two teams that just match up well, man. So you've got to, I just can't wait to see this one. Oh, last thing I'm going to say, I saw somebody else post a random crazy stat. And it was another sports page or podcast or something I found randomly. And one of these guys said, man, Dallas is going to win the Super Bowl. And everybody's like, oh, here you go. And he's like, no, if you follow trends, you follow algorithms, you follow the numbers, you do. He said, Dallas's pattern all year has been lose a game. When Dallas has lost a game, they've won the next 3 or 4 games in a row. They've won 4 games between losses. I don't know. In this example, he had the numbers, whatever did he pulled it up. And that last loss we seen, the one that was super unimpressive to the Commanders, the last game of the season, he said they lost that game to the Commanders. How many games does it take to get to the Super Bowl? 4 games. He said Dallas loses, they win 4. And so if that holds true, I mean, I don't know. But also this now, not to say that holds any weight, but this is a very winnable game for Dallas though. Because, like I said, this is a big spot for Brock Purdy, and especially if the game goes like I'm saying, where they force Brock Purdy, they force Kyle Shanahan to play this game honest, where it's not just you getting Brock in the layup line, you know what I'm saying? And he's looking jiggy like, nah, you go out here and make a play. Go out here and make a play. Go out here and make a play to bring us back. Let Dallas get on top. Let Dallas get up top 10-0 in this game. Something crazy. Let Turpin run one back to start. You're down 7-0, then go 3 and out. Now see if TP don't do something, break somebody off and get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? So that's the Brock Purdy we still haven't seen. That's the guy we still need to see. And Dallas is a team when you get good Dak out there. Look, man, good Dak might as well have been primetime Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Last week,
good Dak fools y'all into thinking he's a guy. That's what good Dak does.
Oh no, he's not a guy. Yeah. Oh no, he fools them. You're right. Yeah, some of y'all get fooled.
But did you hear what you just said though?
Yeah.
Did you hear? That's what I'm talking about. He fools people into thinking that he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why you said Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady, without question, is a guy. Probably not this year at all, but I'm just saying, like, that's what he does. And that's why I be on him so hard, because he come out and he'll have a game where, like, hey man, I'm that dude. I'm a guy. And then it's like, nah, bro. You ain't fooling me. I know this game. I've been watching this game for a long time, bro. You ain't fooling me, bro.
No, for sure. But just to your point, if he shows up and he man, I don't know what he had last week for breakfast. I hope he had the same thing this week. If you had 2 eggs scrambled with cheese, boy, I don't change nothing up. You had 1 piece of toast and you had half a bowl of cereal. I need the same thing this week, Dak, because you know that's the type of performance they're gonna need, man. So if he comes out and is on fire the way he was when he came out in a hostile environment going on the road, and so now they got to double back now to the West Coast, now different ball game, man. This is a different level here. But if they come out though, because he's a guy that also he front runs a little bit as well. So they come out hot, man, and really puts a pressure on Brock. This the Brock I want to see. And honestly, man, if they carry any of the momentum from last week, man, into this one, then and they come out with that same style of intensity, and like I said, if they can get an early lead on San Francisco, man, this game, hey, I don't know what to expect from Brock Purdy at that point. Now, I am gonna still take the well-oiled machines, man, because I think I said around week 7 they was going to the NFC Championship games. I ain't gonna back off that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna back off it. So I'm still take San Francisco for sure. But I think it's gonna be a close game as well. And somebody in the chat just said close as well. Who is that? My dog Jeff, man. He said he's got his close, but he's got a 23-17 Niners. And honestly, man, I'm feeling something closer to that as well. I got 24-21 Niners. I got 24-21 Niners because 30. Oh man, putting 30 on that Dallas defense, man. The way they looked last week. Now I know last week is last week, and I don't want to get caught up, but bigger than the opponent, bigger than the overwhelming, because they were supremely more talented. But sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. They did it like a team with something on their mind. They did it like a team who consciously is aware is, boys got us messed up. And somebody gonna,
hey man, let me help you out. Let me help you out, Willie Jack. Let me help you out, man. Because you getting caught up in the same thing with, you know, that people got caught up in with these Giants, man. Come on, man. Come on back down, Willie Jack. Come on,
man. No, it ain't that bad. No, what the Giants was a pretender all year. I said that. Dallas was playing some good ball. Now I ain't gonna say they was a pretender. Now
let me explain it to you. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. This is the comparison I'm using. The reason why I say this is because we sat there and we watched Daniel Jones throw for 300 yards and run for 70 yards against the Vikings. We sat up here and watched Dallas go and ball out. Let me. My bad. I'm sorry. We sat up there and watched Dallas go ball out against a bad Tampa Bay team, against a below 500 Tampa Bay team. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, this is what I'm telling you, Willie Jack. We ain't gonna have to see Brock Purdy do nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna have to see that. Kyle Shanahan is gonna whip it up. He was cooking, grandma elbows. Man, Kyle Shanahan about to be in here cooking it up, man. Brock Purdy ain't gonna have to do too much that special. He might have to do a couple off-schedule plays, but everything is gonna be right in the wheelhouse, and Dallas gonna have problems. That's what's gonna happen, man. They're gonna have problems.
I'm pulling for the Niners to win. I ain't gonna lie. I'm pulling for the Niners to win, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I think this is a super dangerous game for these Niners, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I do think the Niners win, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I think Dallas makes it because this is, and I'm not gonna lie, the team that Niners team. Well, no, I was trying to decide if the Niners were a better or worse team last year versus this year, and then the same thing with the Cowboys. But because I mean that I don't know, man. I really do think, man.
Dallas looked real good against Tampa Bay.
No, they did, but I mean, but deeper than that, like it's not necessarily, like I said, not necessarily what they did, but just how they did it, and this is more even for the defense, because defense travels. You know what I'm saying? Defense, generally speaking, a defense is your team's consistency. That's, you know what I'm saying. That's why the saying is defense travels. Offense don't travel. Not all the time, or it's not guaranteed that the offense is traveling. You know what I'm saying? Defense travels, and so I still expect that defense to show up and try to make some noise in this game. But that's why I said that's why it's got to be a guy like Donovan Mitchell. We need 3rd and 8s. If Brock, I want to see what Brock does on 3rd and 8. That's gonna be the tell of this game. But like I said, when it's all said and done, man, I expect the Niners to get it done. But
I'm working out, Willie Jack. I'm working out.
It.
You know I'm working out. I'm working out because I'm getting ready. I don't know why I forgot to give y'all a performer of the week.
Okay, come on with it.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm working out to get ready to throw this at y'all. You know what I'm saying? Throw a couple grabs. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me
go ahead. Slip him.
Yeah. Hey man, I ain't worried about Dallas defense, man. My performer of the week. Just because everybody want to see it, I was gonna say, give me Brock Purdy, man.
There you
Brock
go.
Purdy, performer of the week, man. He throws for 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, and you know what he gonna do? He gonna get a rushing touchdown in there too. 4 touchdowns on the day for Brock Purdy, dog. Stop playing. They scoring 30 points, man. I don't care what anybody talking about. What I say, 30 to 23?
Give him 31. Make it 31.
31 to 23, man. 31-23. You know, San Francisco come out, handle business, and let everybody know, hey, man, Dak and them Cowboys, they need to get back. Dak needs to get back. That's what they about to come out here and tell you boys, man. Hey, man.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
Hey, and I'm in the chat all night tonight, man. If y'all want to call at me, I'm in the chat all night tonight, man. Facebook, let the film speak. Join the chat, man. Come on and join your boys. I'm in there all night. You want to talk that trash to me? Come on, I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it tonight, man.
Jeff in the chat, he was asking who you got big. I said I was putting in the chat phone, but yeah. Hey, I like what you did, man. I like what you did because you got to stand on it, man. So I appreciate you. I'm gonna go, man. And like I said, man, this is why I tell you, man. I don't want to hear no discussion about it, man. I don't want to hear about all the flyers and all the could have beens and would have beens. And man, if only they do this, I want the best back in the league. The best back in the league today. I tell you one thing. Win, lose, or draw, he won't hit 9 touches. I'll tell you, win, lose, or draw. C-Mac, give me 150 today, C-Mac. Get it any way you want to, big dog. Give me 150 and 2 touchdowns today for C-Mac to carry and pace this game, man. And then X-Factor for Dallas, man. I really am, man. I think this is a game for TP as well, because I don't think they're not going to pound the Niners. Zeke's not going to pound the Niners in this run game. And with that offensive line being a little banged up and down anyway, they're not going to overpower that offensive line, which is essentially what you want Zeke to do. You want them 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You want them 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Every now and again, he might slip a dude and give you 12 yards. Well, that ain't what I'm looking for today, man. I'm looking for TP to be the X factor for Dallas, man, to really spring one, get something loose. It don't matter either which way it is, man. If it's a screen, it's a shuffle pass, it's a jet sweep. Man, he got a 40-yarder in him today, man. I see that coming, man, and I really do. And so I think he could be an X factor on the Dallas side for sure, or at least offensively. And like I said, I want to see Donovan Wilson. I want to see Donovan Wilson on second down, giving Brock Purdy 3rd and 8s and see how he handles those. But yeah, when it's all said and done, man, the cream rises to the top, Chop. And C-Mac is the cream of this league, man. Y'all boys better start playing, man. 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, man. He gonna give it to you either which way you want to, man. 18 carries for 96 yards, 8 more catches for another 76 and a touchdown each way. Man, if they let the boy throw the ball, I tell you, and he could pass. If they let the boy return punts, I tell you, he could do that too. You know what I'm saying? So all around weapon, man, in this game, man. I'm taking C-Mac to carry it away and get this done. And he's going to be the guy to take some of that pressure off of Brock Purdy. He's got to be the guy that ensures that Brock Purdy doesn't look at a 3rd and 8. Because you know what I'm saying, on when it was 2nd and 8, and you gave me that little 2-yard dump off, I broke somebody off, and then I got you 6 yards. And now we back at 32, and we back on schedule, baby. We can do what we want to. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking for in this one.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. I like that, man. I like that. I expect C-Mac to have a big game in this game because Dallas. Man. Yeah, man. C-Mac. I think C-Mac is gonna have a big game, man. But Brock Purdy, man. Brock Purdy gonna be that guy, man. He gonna be the story of this game, man. They're gonna be talking about my guy, man. But hey, Willie Jack. That's it.
That's all.
That's all.
Hey, real quick, man. Before we get up out of here, before we close it on up, man. Hey, y'all. Some of y'all give me some scores now. I got a score from Chop. Or no. I got Jeff score 23-17 Niners. Miles, did you give me a score, bro? I thought Miles had dropped a score in the chat for me as well, man. Somebody give me a score, man, while we wind it up, man. Oh, man, hold on. Somebody slow down, man. Chop, stop the presses. Real deal STL Sports that snuck in the building. Come on, man. Real deal STL Sports, man. Shout out to our dog Skinny. Shout out to our dog Kevin Wilkinson. Shout out to the game, man. They just snuck in the building. And our dog Real Deal, he said the Cowboys will find a way. My dog Hoop, man. If Hoop was in there, if Hoop was up this morning, man, if he was in here, he'd definitely appreciate that, man. He's a huge Cowboys fan, man. So you talking his language now, man. He on the West Coast, though, so man, it's still probably early morning for him. A little early for him. But, yeah, man, Cowboys will find a way. And I'm not going to lie, man. This is a very winnable game for the Cowboys. It really is, because they are a team that does tend to run a little hot and cold. And when they are running hot now, that's the thing about the Cowboys. When they running hot, they play with anybody. But when they running cold, they lose to a bum ass Colts team or something foolish like that. So that's the only thing about it. But man, if they carry over to any of that heat they had last week, man, they gonna make this one a tough one. Give me a score though, Real Deal, man, while I close it out, man. Somebody drop some scores. Miles is also taking a lot of Cowboy love in here. Miles is also taking the Cowboys 31-24.
Just make sure y'all in the chat, man. Just make sure y'all in the chat.
In the chat.
Chop in there talking, because I'm telling you, I'm talking to all y'all. I'm checking. Man. Okay, Drill. Okay, Drill.
They one game Drill in here, man. He said he got the Niners 31-28. I just don't really think it's gonna be that many points.
Make y'all in the chat,
points,
man.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't think it's gonna be that many points, man. But yeah, man. Hey, if anybody else in here got a score, man, give it to me so I can read it off for y'all, man. Let me get the roll call real quick, man. Of course, man. Matter of fact, first one in the building today was Mama, man. Hey, Mama, we appreciate you. I love you. She's the first one in the building today, man. The home team fell through. My sister got in this thing, man. Appreciate y'all. Wifey was in the building today too, man. Sis, we appreciate you as always. You know what's going on, man. Shout out to the game, man. Y'all showed up, man. As always, man. Our dog Miles fell through, man. Our dog Jeff came through. Our dog Day One Game Jarrell came through. You know what I'm saying? Them Eagles flew. You know what I'm saying? We definitely showed them some love today, man. I don't know if I got to catch it. Shout out to our dog Real Deal STL Sports, man. Slid through and hollered at his dogs, man, before we got about this thing. Man, I'm searching for you, man. I'm searching, man. Y'all know what's going on. Oh, Miles got one more for us, man. He said Mike is his player for the game. I'm not gonna lie, man. This could be a 2-set game. This could be a 2-set 6-pressure game for Micah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely want to see him, Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams, man. So both those tackles are well, of course, Trent being the best offensive lineman in football is one thing, but McGlinchey ain't no slouch on the other side as well. You know what I'm saying? And so definitely want to see that. I want to see George Kittle and Michael tussle in that run game as well. You know what I'm saying? And so Michael plays. They'll move him around, but so I want to see all that, man. It's definitely some heavyweight fights in those trenches today. I can't wait to see. But man, y'all know what's going on, man. Shout out to our dogs, man. If I forgot to say your name, y'all can say it with me. Y'all know what's going on, man. Charge it to my head, man. Don't charge it to my heart. You know, we think about you, big dog. We appreciate all the love and support as always. He said, put that pressure on Mike. I feel you. And that's what it's going to be, man. I want to see Mike. I want to see Purdy in 3rd and 8, man. That's what I need to see. I need to see Purdy in 3rd and 8. But, man, y'all know what's going on, man. Everybody have fun and be safe and enjoy yourselves today, man. The games today, man, y'all got plenty of time because the games today don't start till 2. I think, yeah, the first game's at 2, and then we got the prime, so we got the afternoon part. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They say it with me in the chat, Jeff. Come on. And not my heart, because you know we thinking about y'all, man. We appreciate all the love and support as always. Just like my dog Chop said, that chat's open, man. Come in there. Don't run away. A lot of y'all like to throw them rocks and hide your hand. No, I'm talking to you a little bit, Ike Turner. I ain't seen you in here since your Chargers took that L, boy. Where you been at? Where you been? Boy, where you been? You feel
I want to know who they all got right now. I want to know who everybody got right now. Call it out. Who y'all got today? I don't want to see no faking.
We don't want nobody claiming nothing next week. Like, oh yeah, man, hey, man, I told y'all the Niners gonna roll. Now we keep Chop keep all them receipts. Believe that, yes, man. The chat will be active, man. Come in there and chop it up with your dogs, man. You know me and Chaco been all day long. Talking to getting busy, man. So y'all know what's going on with that. Other than that, man, we will be right back on Wednesday. We'll talk about the weekend, man. Who made it? Who with those matchups look like, man, that's a big dance. So y'all tap back in with your dogs Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, the home base show. You ain't safe till you touch home base. You know what's going on, man. And then, hey, other than that, man, unless you got one more for the folks, man, that's it. That's all. And we got this thing. Peace.